all, I don't want to repeat what everybody else has said already about how the Historical Society was founded and why we did it, because that Sherry did a great job, Peter's done a great job. Others you can read about in the newsletter. I do have a question. How many people and who did you talk to write that article about me? Because this more said in that than I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know where you got all that information. I did take a moment to recall the founding of the Historical Society, to think back about how we got started. And I remember meetings at CCBA at 14 Oxford Street, and I don't know how many of you remember that. It was located at 14 Oxford Street, with David and Davis, who were both officials at CCBA, sat around the table, and my brother Reggie and my brother Ronnie were at that table, talking about what could be done at the burial ground to honor the people who were buried there. And there were several meetings about that. I don't know if my brother Ronnie remembers that. But anyway, it got to the point where things were coming to some kind of fruition. And we were wondering, okay, that means we've got to raise funds for this. And what's the best way to raise funds? And how do we make sure that the funds we raise are used specifically for this memorial? And that's when I thought about what's happening in other Chinatowns across the country, and the fact that there is a Chinese Historical Society in San Francisco. There was beginning to be one in New York. And I don't know how many of you know that in the 70s, when you went to the East Coast and when you went to gatherings of Asian Americans, they never remembered that there were Chinese east of New York. And I had to remind ourselves that, hey, we have an Asian community here too. So I thought, well, this might be the time to start a historical society that commemorates the Chinese in New England. So I opened my big mouth and said, let's start a historical society. And fortunately, we had lots of people jump on the bandwagon and really want to help us do that. It was clearly the first organization I ever belonged to where no one said no. So we got started. So I remember many meetings at the Union Oyster House that David and Davis hosted. Peter, King, and I were glad to have clam chowder with them many times. So this is a really New England product. Luckily, King, Peter, and I worked at the government center, so that's why we were meeting there. And we got started, and we developed bylaws, we developed a board, we did everything else. So, okay, so now you know, and you can read about the rest of it in our newsletters that we publish over the years. I wanted to mention a few people that I feel don't get enough recognition connected with the Historical Society. We started because we wanted to build a memorial for the Chinese buried at Mount Hope. So the two people I think I want to recognize for that are Vic Fong Ing and Deborah Dong, because they did a great job. Come on, don't be shy, stand up. And I think we burned them out. The other person I really want to recognize is someone who did a yeoman's job in publishing our newsletter every year, and that's Maggie Chang. And that's because she shepherded the whole thing. She found translators for us. She even recruited friends in Taiwan to do our translations. She hounded us to do articles for pictures and everything. So, Maggie, you did a wonderful job. Thank you very much. And the last thing I want to say is that, we've got a historical society to last 25 years. I never dreamed we would. I want to challenge you to help us last at least another 25 years. And that means the young people in this audience need to pitch in and join us and collect your stories, stories of your family, stories of people you know about, stories of your heroes, and add them to the collections of the society. Bring your artifacts to the society for, commemoration. Hopefully, and I know Wing Kai wants to do this, hopefully we can even have a museum someday. Who knows? So that's the challenge for all of you. And I hope you'll do that and support us. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Caroline. You may or may not know that Caroline and Jean now lives in Las Vegas. Okay, and I know that there are a lot more Chinese, Asian Americans living there. So perhaps you will start a historical society there too?
They have one.
Oh, they already have one. Okay. Anyway, it is now our pleasure and honor to make the presentation to Caroline.